Stats 2 Final Project. Research question. Is alcohol intake associated with cardiovascular outcomes in women compared to men? Why is it interesting? It's interesting because it's an association between two things that many people wouldn't think affected each other. Is the link cause and effect or an association? The link is an association due to the fact that it's demonstrating a connection between alcohol consumption and risk of major cardiovascular outcomes and total mortality. Why is it an association? This study is an observational study due to the fact that there is not a way to interfere with people's way of life. It's observational because they're using test subjects that had free will. It couldn't be experimental because there's no way to do this study in a controlled environment. Explain the methods. The research was gathered through the use of meta-analysis. They used already gathered data from relevant articles published prior to 2014. In those articles, it included prospective studies. The different dose categories of alcohol intake were compared with the lowest alcohol intake or non-drinkers between women and men for the outcomes of major cardiovascular or total mortality. For proof of peer review, here's the article along with the link as to where you can find it. Null and alternate hypothesis. Null hypothesis is that there's an association between alcohol consumption and major cardiovascular outcomes and total mortality in men. For the alternative hypothesis, the association between alcohol consumption and major cardiovascular outcomes and total mortality in women. The reasoning is that women who were conferred by moderate alcohol intake had a significant 10% increased risk of total mortality compared with men. Results. For this study, they included 23 prospective studies reporting on 489,696 individuals. Women with heavy alcohol intake had a significantly increased relative ratio risk of mortality than male drinkers. There is no such significance that was observed with other level of alcohol intake. There was no evidence of a sex difference with the relative risk for major cardiovascular outcomes between participants with low alcohol intake compared to those who have never consumed alcohol or had the lowest intake. What the results mean to us. The meaning is that if you're a woman, alcohol intake should be considered. According to the article, young women should be the most careful because many tend to binge drink. Could there be an error? There could be an error due to the use of old statistical articles along with the use of 23 different studies from various places and times. Therefore, this could be identified as a type 1 error. Strengths and weaknesses of research question. For the strengths, taking into account low intake, moderate intake, and heavy intake of alcohol, along with acknowledging the consideration of many articles but were selective on which ones they chose. As for weaknesses, the use of meta-analysis to conduct the research and no precise way to measure the amount of alcohol a person consumes. Did we make a valid inference? Yes. The study was well designed and presents different statistical data through the use of charts to show the association between alcohol consumption having a role in the risk of major cardiovascular outcomes or total mortality in women.